What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. Percy Jackson, The Olympians, Season 2, Episode 8, and full season. So in this one, Luke's group, basically they, start attacking Camp Half-Blood, and a fireball kills Tantalus. Now in the book, when all this stuff happened, when the whole dust settles, Tantalus just sent back the underworld. He isn't just killed like that. So Percy learns that Clarice hasn't reached the tree, and Percy overhears that Luke plans to free Talia so she can destroy Olympus, and so Percy rallies the campers to fight Cronus' army, and Release learns that Chris Rodriguez is side of Cronus, and Annabeth and Grover save her. Now Annabeth is injured by Allison, but Clarice gets the fleece to Talia's tree, and Talia is revived and unleashes a lightning attack that knocks out Percy, and it drives out Luke and his people and his army away. Now Luke in his dream, Percy in his dream, it talks to Poseidon, who warns him that the next Titan War. And Poseidon asks for Tyson to work in the forge, which Tyson agrees. So Percy wakes up, and Chiron, who has been reinstated, reveals that the Furies didn't mortally wound Talia as he said, but that the Furies told her the great prophecy, and Zeus turned her into the tree when she said she didn't want to be like Zeus's weapon. And Chiron says he believes that Kronos wanted to bring Talia back, hoping to use her as his champion. So Talia wakes up, reunites with Annabeth, asks where Luke is, and Percy looks at her like suspiciously. Then Cersei's spa, Percy and Annabeth, they're honored for passing the sirens, with Cersei giving a little wink to the viewers. So I did not like this finale. Okay, so the whole battle, you don't have the whole battle at Camp Half-Blood in the book. You just have basically and also it removes Chiron from the actual battle in the book. And yeah, so there's a whole deal about they want to bring back Talia. So that is not in anyone's mindset in the book. In the book, they just want to heal the tree. They're not thinking about Talia returning. Like, just Talia was when she was young, she was that wasn't even brought up. And so yeah, so like uh basically in the book, Percy is captured by it's on the cruise ship. It is actually on the cruise ship, the Princess Andromeda. Now Percy does contact Camp Half-Blood with an iris message, and tricks Luce to confess that he was the one who poisoned Talia's tree and not Chiron. Percy fights, Luke. Luke almost kills Percy. Then Chiron and the party ponies, who are some of the other centaurs, they rescue Percy. Annabeth Tyson and Grover. And Clarice then she makes it back to the camp and uses the police to heal Talia, and Chiron's reinstated. And that's when Tantalus is supposed to be is like basically sent back to the underworld. Then the police, the magic was so powerful that it not only healed the tree, but it brought back Talia. Now she had aged a little bit, but like not like at 1-to-1 speed, but like a little slower. So it's led to some complications. And then yeah, so Chiron's not part of the battle. They removed Chiron the centaurs and had Talia, the whole Talia being resurrected as part of the plan. Like that is not part of the plan. No one is thinking that in the book. It was an unintended side effect that threw a wrinkle in the is Percy the actual prophet like child that is the child of the big three that the prophecy refers to. Is that because Talia, when she, Luke, Annabeth, and Grover were trying to get the Camp Half Blood, people thought Talia was the child of prophecy, but then when when Talia got turned into a tree, it was Percy who was suspected. Then when Talia got brought back, it was like, okay, it might be Talia. Until people who've read the third book, you know what happens to Talia. And how it's basically confirmed that, Percy is the child of prophecy. And so, yeah, I didn't like how this season was handled. And the thing is, in the season, Chris Rodriguez was already on in the book. Chris Rodriguez, I believe, is already on the ship. Like, I think he was already on it. Like, I think if I recall, the only actual Camp Half-Blood, the only member of Luke's army that was actually still at Camp Half-Blood by the time the book ends is Serena Beauregard because she was a spy. Spoilers for the fifth book that has been out for a while. Yes, I do not care too much about spoilers. The book's been out for so long, it don't matter. I'm with Fear the Beardo on the whole spoilers argument from I can't remember which week it was with Tuesday night's main event, but I agree with Beardo. Anyway, so back to this. So yeah, so this changes a bunch of stuff from the book, and it causes a bunch of problems. And so the whole thing with Zeus. Look, Zeus is not the nicest guy in the books. He is not. Neither really are a lot of the gods, really. I mean, Poseidon's like just one of the more reasonable ones. Like, I mean, like like Zeus has his problems with ego. He does. This show just portrays him. This episode just portrayed him as like basically freaking evil. Like the first season, you know, there are problems with his portrayal, but he's he just has an ego problem. He's not evil. This episode's basically like, okay, they made him evil. Like this isn't God of War. Like God of War was able to do that because that was how God of War was. Like it was showing the end of the gods. This isn't that. So in this show, basically had that tall. So okay, like in the books, I do not recall. So they were wanting to go to Camp Half Blood. They were wanting to get there, like Talia, Luke, Annabeth, and Grover. They were trying to get there, but there were complications, like on their journey there. Like I do not recall, like I think Talia and have issues with how the gods interacted with their demigod kids. I do not recall basic or outwardly just like hating them like Luke did. Like, whereas as the show does have that, or that basically her portrayal as her and like she just hates the gods. So it does hint that there's gonna be concerns about her like Talia being a villain. Like they're gonna change what happens in the third book. Like which they're gonna try to see why oh this is why Percy like has some and Talia have their issues. Because if you read the third book, one of the things is how like Percy was like the big hero, the one everyone liked, the star, basically he was the star of camp. But then Talia comes back, and since Talia is a child of Zeus, that you know some recognition on her and given like her story from her journey to Camp Half Blood, she kind of was seen as the big dog, and that leads to some conflict between her and Percy. You know, yeah. So it's gonna be interesting how they handle things. As far as the acting is good. Like, there are some episodes where the acting like is atrocious, but this episode it's not bad. Like this season overall has better acting than the first season, and it's not even close. But yeah, Zeus, dude, making Zeus just evil, that was bad. And it makes Chiron look bad. Yes, Chiron was following, you know, Zeus's command. He ain't gonna mess with Zeus. He's not stupid. But like, come on. And then I mean, I had a problem with the first season where how basic was like, oh, oh, we just want an excuse for war. I do not recall that being the thing now. Now, Ares liked war in the first book. The whole is established that Ares liked war. He's like, hey, there's a war, I'm in. Whereas this show, this season, like it was like, gosh, there was some dumb things with this. Like there was some really dumb things. But yeah, I did not like this episode. Did not like this season. I'll begrudgingly watch season 3, which I guess comes out this later this year. Hell Teacher Nube 2025 episode 16. So in this episode, Nube has to like live in like a class like a room or in the school for some time because there's some utilities issues in his apartment because of he hasn't paid his bills. And so while he's doing he's living off of instant ramen. And it's basically some students visit him and he sees a package. So a package comes in, he opens it, it opens and then some legs come out and then out comes Yukime wearing a bikini. And basically she says that, you know, obviously she's there to seduce Noob. And you can Yukime says that Yaminaga banned her from living in the mountain till she comes back with a human man that she'll freeze, fall in love with, freeze, and take back up. Which of course is Noob, but and Yukime says since she knows Noob won't leave his students, that she'll just live with Noob. But her powers cause some problems. Noob asks her to leave. She runs off. She sees a kid in a fire after she accidentally causes these guys to like fail a ball machine, whatever, and they like try to take her to karaoke. And so then she sees there's a big fire. She runs in to try to help a kid get out of the fire. But since she's very sensitive to the heat that causes problems, Nube helps get him out. The kids return to her mother, and Yukime disappears. Um, due to the heat, like Noob sees a puddle, thinks that she died. But it's real next day that no, she escaped in some refrigeration van and ended up getting a part-time job at an ice rink, which I guess will help her like live amongst humans, which makes sense. So yeah, I thought this was a really good episode. Like I thought it was funny Yukime's interactions with Noob, and then then it's funny Yukime sees Ritsuko, and like she getting very jealous of her Ritsuko. I thought that was funny, and dude, that crap was like that crap was freaking hilarious. So when Yukime disappears and like runs out, Yuto's good that Yukiona is there, and Ritsuko basically slaps New because how Ritsuko's scared of supernatural stuff. That crap was funny. Like I thought this was a great episode. Looking forward to the next one. Jack of all trades, party of none, episode 4. So in this one, Oru like here's the hero party's going down to floor 92 to test out their new enchanter, Philly. Now Oru knows that that's a bad idea. That they should, if they're gonna do the test how they work with Philly, they should do it on the lower floors, since they're easier. But he's like, it's not. He's like, it's not my problem. I mean, I don't think he wants them to die. I mean, Oliver and Luna are his childhood friends, and Luna was actually nice to him. And there's a flashback, so when Luna learns about what happened to like what happened about Oru getting kicked out, like she tells Oliver, like the party about how Oliver is going to the dungeon with the silver blades, or the silver rabbits, and like basically they're the fear party. They're like, wait, how in the world did he get in the silver rabbits? Like, yeah, I mean, because they all consider him weak, except for Luna. Luna's like, basically, she's like, you idiots. She tells them they like, Orun was like the core of our party, and you freaking got rid of him. And like, she argues that they should get Orun back, and like, she's not mad at Philly. I don't think Luna has an issue with Philly, but she's like tells all like basically tell her basically like you're a freaking retard. And then yeah, and then what that well so but despite disagreement, Luna, basically Oliver tells her she can't disappear, she can't refuse. Their mission to go deeper into the dungeon, so they do that. So Luna goes with the party. They could go there, but they struggle and come across the Black Dragon, the floor boss of floor 92. Philly, like who I guess doesn't have a lot. I don't know how much experience she has, but she freezes in terror, and Nelly and Derek are injured, and so basically all their attacks are not working, even with Philly's boost. And so Oliver tries to use a fickle gate to get them all out to make a safer floor, but the dragon steals the gate and teleports to a higher floor. So basically, every adventurer in the dungeon's danger. So Luna says that they should get the guild to force teleport everyone out. And she insists that if they try to face that dragon again, they need Oru this time. They need Oru next time. And while they're getting out, it explains that Oru knew that he was weaker than the most enchanters, so he invented all the original spells he made were made to make up for it and to help. Like he was creative ways in how to enhance them so like he can boost up their stats by 50 times instead of up to 10 times like some of the other enchanters. And he can have it apply to weapons instead and equipment instead of I guess the user so that which actually like helps them like not like whenever the the stat boost that goes away, it doesn't feel like a weight being put back on them. And that and what happens is that so Oliver, Anelli, and Derek became very arrogant in their training. They tried to hone their skills because they were like they basically they thought that they were doing everything on their own talent, but they didn't realize how much of it was because of Orun's enchantments. And so basically like they're weak. So and like Orun's shot was and so Oliver was shocked at how Philly was able to understand how they all fought while Orun was able to deal with it within the day. So so yeah, now they get to the surface and people they all assume they complete their mission. They're all cheering. Oliver tells himself that he doesn't deserve a hero. They're not shouldn't called heroes. And basically he says that he still believes that they don't need Orun. Basically he wants to prove that they don't need Orun. So obviously they're still heading towards the guild. Which I'm sure is gonna be an interesting conversation. So yeah, I thought this was a very good episode. So this focus on the hero party, seeing how they do. So I mean, it happens. Like the underappreciated member of the party who actually did a lot more to help is got rid of, and then basically the big party like fails. Like basically they're not as powerful as they believed. So I mean that basically will make the Silver Rabbits the top party in the area. Is essentially what's going to happen. Like that's going to make them the top Silver Rabbits the top party, and probably makes Orun a very valuable asset. Like I'm curious what happens to Luna. I've not read the source material, so I don't know what will happen. So how things move forward with Oliver, Derek, Anelli, and Luna, how that goes on. And Philly, like Philly doesn't seem to be a bad person. Like she, seems a little shy. Seems like she's new. She's very talented, but doesn't have a lot of experience. And so it looks like that's gonna be interesting. So who knows what happens to the hero party? But yeah, I thought this was a good episode. Looking forward to the next one. Shiboyugi playing death games to put food on the table. Episode 3. So in this one, this continues to the scrap game and the game. So yeah, so Yuki goes back to find Toa, who was abandoned because of an injury. So Yuki rescues her. Toa asks why Yuki would try to save her, and Yuki explains that basically being likable can have a strategic advantage for veteran players, and basically like farming points, scoring brownie points. Basically, is how kind of she puts it. So Meanwhile, this is going on, Mishiro and the other players are trying to get through the building, but they find like a wolf, whatever, and then so Mishiro is like, yeah, so he like basically it's like a wolf or something, and then yeah, it's yeah, and yeah, so basically, so they go on threat, the threat they all run. Yuki basically says she told them so, and then yeah, so basically, and yeah, so Yuki like helps Mishiro, but she basically she tells Mishiro like that she told her so, and then you know Mishiro's like her and all that. So yeah, and so it's like that. Yeah, so this is gonna be interesting how it affects next week. So you have like yeah, so the other two had like abandoned Mishiro. And dude, that's insane. I should like yeah, and you knew that was gonna be like Yuki knew what she was doing. Mishiro did not. You knew that was gonna go down. Like that was probably like that's gonna go down. Dude, man. And so Katoa, like her legs are gone. Like that's why so Yuki is the carrier because she lost her legs. And yeah, so they go into like why some of them are playing Katoa is trying to get a bunch of money quickly so she can retire early. Yuki wants to win 99 games. Wants to win like I think like 99 games. And so Mishiro wants like yeah. So Bailey's revealed she had killed her sister because her sister was bearing her. And yeah, so and dude, it's freaking yeah, it got dark. And yeah, so and then so the two that are with Mishra, they come across Yuki and Katoa. And yeah, so it looks like for a lot of things are fine. So the group still has to get through the through the building. But dude, it's gonna be insane what happens. Like I'm really looking forward to what happens. I've not read the Let's say Yuki's basically submitting herself as in charge. So it's gonna be interesting. Like how that goes. But yeah, I thought this the whole deal about Wolf. So and it's gonna be interesting what's the deal with this Wolf. And yeah, so this is gonna be interesting. What happens? Like how Bishiro's gonna is she gonna try and kill Yuki? It's like she's gonna mental breakdown. Cause dude, holy frick. This is gonna be insane. But yeah, I thought this was a really good episode. Looking forward to the next one. And that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.